This movie caused thousands of people to protest across the United States. Not because of politics, not because of war, not because of a real crime caught on camera, but because of a movie released during Christmas. A movie where Santa Claus was no longer a symbol of safety, but a symbol of fear. Parents demanded it be removed from theaters. Religious groups called it dangerous. And within days of its release, the film began disappearing from cinemas. Decades later, one question still follows this case. Was this story inspired by real events, or was it pure fiction that went too far? And this year, in December 2025, the movie was remade once again. So watch our full review first before you decide to watch it. If you enjoy content that dives into horror and true crime, make sure to subscribe to our channel because that's exactly what we bring to you every weekend. Released in 1984, Silent Night, Deadly Night was marketed as a low-budget slasher film. On the surface, it followed a familiar formula: a traumatized man, a holiday setting, and a series of violent murders. But there was one difference. The killer was dressed as Santa Claus. The film follows Billy Chapman, a young man raised in a strict religious orphanage after witnessing his parents' murder. Over time, Christmas becomes a trigger, Santa becomes a symbol of terror, and violence becomes his response. For some audiences, it was just another horror movie. For others, it crossed a line that should never have been touched. The controversy didn't begin after the movie premiered. It began with a television commercial, a short trailer showing a Santa figure holding a weapon. Phone lines lit up immediately. Parents called the studio an outrage. Religious organizations accused the film of corrupting children. Protesters gathered outside theaters holding signs and chanting. Some theaters received threats of boycotts. Others feared violence. Within days, major cinema chains began pulling the film. The studio eventually withdrew it entirely. This was not censorship by the government, but pressure from the public. A rare moment where outrage won. As the movie disappeared from cinemas, rumors began to grow. Some people believed the film had to be inspired by real events. Others claimed there had once been a killer who used Santa Claus as a disguise. These rumors spread quietly, passed along in conversations, magazines, and later, the internet. The story felt too disturbing to be completely fictional. But when the facts are examined, the truth becomes clear. There is no documented case of a real-life serial killer who inspired Silent Night, Deadly Night, no police reports, no confirmed incidents. The story itself was created by writers looking to shock and provoke. However, that doesn't mean the fear it created was imaginary. Horror doesn't always need to be real to feel real. Sometimes, it's enough for a story to resemble something possible. And that possibility is what unsettled audiences. The idea that a trusted symbol could become a threat, the idea that violence could hide behind familiarity, that fear is not fictional. It exists in the real world. What truly disturbed audiences wasn't the costume, it was the psychology behind it. Billy Chapman's story is built on trauma. As a child, he witnesses extreme violence. Instead of receiving care or understanding, his fear is punished and suppressed. Over time, those emotions don't disappear. They evolve. The film presents a disturbing but realistic concept. When trauma is ignored, it doesn't fade. It mutates. Fear becomes anger. Confusion becomes obsession. Billy doesn't see himself as a villain. He believes he is enforcing rules, punishing what he sees as wrongdoing. This pattern exists in real criminal psychology. Many violent offenders justify their actions through distorted moral frameworks. That is why the character feels believable. And that realism is what made audiences uncomfortable. The movie didn't just show violence, it showed how violence can grow quietly inside a damaged mind. Ironically, the backlash didn't kill the film. It transformed it. After being pulled from theaters, copies circulated underground. Horror fans searched for it. What was once forbidden became desirable. Over time, Silent Night Deadly Night gained cult status, sequels followed, each one pushing boundaries further. The controversy became part of its identity. People no longer asked whether the film was offensive, they asked why it frightened people so deeply. Decades later, the story returned once again. In 2025, the film was rebooted with a darker, more grounded tone, less shock, more psychological focus. The question shifted from "why is Santa killing?" to something far more unsettling. How does society fail people before they become monsters? Silent Night Deadly Night was never about Santa Claus. It was about fear, about how easily innocence can be corrupted, about how society reacts when familiar symbols are challenged. The story is fictional, but the outrage, panic, and psychological themes it exposed were very real. Sometimes, the most disturbing stories aren't true crime cases. They're fictional narratives that reflect real human behavior. They force audiences to confront uncomfortable questions. And that discomfort is often what people react to the most. This film didn't just scare audiences. It exposed how thin the line is between comfort and fear, and why some stories are remembered long after they disappear. This has been the Darkcase Files, where we explore the dark side of stories, whether they're real or inspired by something deeper. Because sometimes, fiction reveals truths that reality tries to hide. If you enjoy content that dives into horror and true crime, make sure to subscribe to our channel because that's exactly what we bring to you every weekend.